I got every workout from 1983 until 1997. Every single workout, every rep, every set. Preparation notes for Mr. Olympia and all these things. This worked, this didn't work. So very analytical, writing everything, analyzing, studying.
His training diary was his life, and that was him. He knew if he followed X, it would equal Y, and that's what's been proven.
He totally believed what he was doing was right. He had no doubts. That's half the battle. If you believe in something, you can make it happen.
Blood and guts is just to the level where no one's willing to go. I mean, that's what it's about. Turn the body inside out, no matter what it takes. He wasn't going to stop. He was a train.
Ask you about the state of the men's open division. It seems like the men's open division, the state of it right now. Do you feel like it's the state of the men's open division? Yeah. Do you feel like it's on a decline? It seems like you guys being criticized a lot by the old school guys constantly. People saying the quality went down. Some people saying other divisions are coming up. How do you feel about men's open currently?
The thing people don't understand is, let's say if you take some guys from the past. There was a few years there was like a bunch of guys who were good. LeBron, Flex Wheeler, Ronnie Coleman, a lot of guys, Sean, all those guys. But the thing is, like, yes, they look good, but I think they were smaller than you think, for one. And I think sometimes the lighting and the VHS quality has sharpness to the videos we see of them. So we think they're actually leaner than they really are. Because a lot of guys didn't have ripped glutes. It wasn't important back then. Like, I talked to Jay and stuff, and Flex Wheeler, they didn't even talk about ripped glutes back then. So you would get some of these guys on the stage today, and I don't think they would win as much. And
so you think it's an illusion. You think it's we just think that.
Yeah, and yes, to some extent. Some guys like Ronnie Coleman is never gonna. Ronnie is Ronnie, right? We can't argue with that. Dorian Yates was really good too, and Kevin Levrone is good also. But the thing is, like, if you put Kevin Levrone beside Phil Heath of 2011. Sorry, he's getting smoked. Like, come on. So, and LeBron is one of my favorite bodybuilders, but so I think back then the genetics were a lot, for some reason they were better because it was not all the other classes. All these other people who are doing the classes now would be trying to do bodybuilding. And then it would just be the elite. It was so much harder to be a pro back then. And there was less pro shows also because they would qualify and stuff. But yeah. But the guys in the 90s, like before the waves got blown out, of course it looks a bit better. And when Ronnie 2003 went up to like whatever he was on stage, everybody tried to chase him. That was their mistake. You can't chase Ronnie. Like Jay tried and he got really big and he was the closest guy. Then he won the Olympia, so he's the only one who kind of did it. But all the other guys who tried to chase his size. Like we're not that good, I think. They were really good. Like Nasser was really good, but I think from the back it wasn't ripped enough to be for today. Would get smoked. As today with the conditioning is so much better. I think with some of the top guys. Some people try to do the size game also, but are they winning? Like look at Cali. I wasn't the biggest. I mean, I was 263 on stage. But I wasn't the biggest, but my separation was the best. And I think people who have good conditioning get rewarded. I think so, and I think the men's open. The guys now, if you take just this year's Olympia, and there was another Olympia also that when Jay was there, like Phil Heath was there was a lot of guys. There were a lot of really good guys. What happens sometimes, you go back in the 90s or something, where people they talk about the 90s. If you go out of the top four, the rest they would not even be pros today. You understand? A lot of them, like the rest, like from like 5 to like 12, like who are they? Were they really good? Like also you say the pros are on decline. Yeah, what about maybe there was like 6 guys who were really good right now would still be winning shows, but what about the rest of the guys? Like were they good? We don't even know who they are. It's like, I think bodybuilding is going at some point when like, oh, wait, the size is important and the waist got blown out a little bit. I don't like the big waist. I get paranoid with that for myself, but so I do like the smaller waist. But I like dense muscle too. I like size too. I like combination. I think bodybuilding is because when they give the Olympia to Sean, I guess they want to make a statement. Because personally, Phil Heath for me was so much just more harder and stuff. It's just the waist control. So I guess their judging criteria are like, even when you're not posing, you gotta always be presenting yourself. Like Flex Wheeler told me, because he helped me with my posing. The camera's always on. You should never let everything loose, and they should always be sharp. Boom, boom. So yeah, I guess he got penalized for that, but I like Phil Heath's physique. The 2011 Phil Heath, amazing. I think it's like one of the best Mr. Olympias, the physique one. Yeah, for sure. His glutes and hams, just everything is like there. So I think the pros today, this year's Olympia. You understand who's the top five is already like on the picture. Like, I mean, I'm gonna hope for the best for myself and think like I need to train like I would win it, even though it's like who am I going against here? Top Phil Heath is there, Mr. Olympia. Dexter Jackson, Mr. Olympia. Brandon Curry, Mr. Olympia. I think Sean doing it. Flex Lewis, 7 times 212 Mr. Olympia. So that's like 4 guys, and then you want to add after that there is the Hadi, like Rami. There's Rolly Winkler. If he gets his conditioning down, very dangerous. So it's like the top 5 is like top 6 is pretty much like cracking the top 6 is gonna be like this year's Olympia is like getting second at another Olympia almost.
Sure, but the question is, I was talking to Kai Green about this, right? And the main question is, how is the judging gonna exactly? What's the criteria for winning in this year specifically? Because you have Phil Heath and you have Brandon Curry completely different, and then Sean Roden is completely different from them. As far as the body type goes. So how what I mean? It's very difficult. Well, I think
if Phil Heath fixed the problem that the judges saw in him with the waist control, like he's got everything that the other guys have if he has the small abs and more. His separation better. If he becomes good like before, like 2011, like I said, even 2009 when he got I think fifth or something, 2009. I think he's gonna beat them. But the thing is, that's my opinion, right? I like dance, muscle, separation, and his legs are better than the other guys. But the thing with Brady Curry is looking pretty swole right now, and he's adding some size, and his waist is always good. So there's that. Sean Roden, I think he was really good at that. He always pulls it up at the end. I don't know, because when I see him, it's like he's always seems very relaxed and covered, and I think he's always taking a break more than maybe the other pros. But then he always pulls it off somehow, and looks great. But I like big arms, separated arms, and Sean Roden's arms are not his best body part, but his legs are really good also. So I think Phil Heath has the arms and the legs, and he has more separation than Brendan. But if Brendan comes in bigger than before, I think it's gonna be a great Olympia. It's gonna be. I'm super pumped to be part of it. It's seriously. As far as the judging goes, I don't know. They want the tight waist, right? They don't want But what the judges like the most, I think, is improvement. I've noticed that. If you improve a lot from one show to another, and let's say if you talk to the judges, what can I improve? What did I do wrong? And then they say this, and that. If you work on that and improve that, it makes sense you're going to go up in placings, especially if others don't improve or regress. So it all depends. And the thing with the pros that's kind of fun and cool is that if you look at me going from 7 to 1, it's if you take any guy in the top 6 or 7 that's in good condition, they can make adjustment and go change drastically. So the cool thing with top 6 and the Olympia, top 7, even top 10, is that a lot can change in between that, depending if they nail it or not, or if they condition or not. So, I mean, they're gonna judge the they're gonna judge it with probably the same thing as usual: proportion, symmetry, conditioning, size. But the thing with the Olympia is that I think if you come flat, you can, like, for me, if I go flat at the Olympia, last place.
But do you have pressure to put on a lot more size, because those guys are, they all mass monsters. Well, not all of them, but you know what I mean. They definitely have a lot of mass. Do you have that pressure?
I don't have pressure, but I know I have to add more muscle. But the thing is that I have a bigger frame than a lot of those guys, so that's why I look smaller. Because let's say if my knee is big like that, I need this much more leg and calf. If my wrist is like big like that, I need much more forearm and arms to look round like Brendan Curry, or because even Hassan Mustafa, Hassan Mustafa, he got sick sadly. Yeah, he was such a trooper for still competing. He looks gigantic, but in person, I'm like, wait a minute. He's not a big guy. Like Ronnie is a big for his size. He has a big frame. Steve Kuklo, there you go. That's a big boy. Dennis McCarver, that's a big boy. But I gotta be at their size pretty much to make any damage at that level, right? So yeah, I gotta add more size. But the thing is, like I said, I've been bodybuilding for 3 years now properly, and I had a bicep tear during this time. So I know I can add more size. Like I was 268 this morning. And then yesterday I was a little bit heavier. And when I'm pumped up, now I was like, what the hell? Why was I, now we kind of learned me and my coach that I can actually be bigger and fuller with the same position, because I know my glutes are still ripped, and I'm like bigger. And then yes, I'm retaining water, of course, but if you eat a lot, that's why the guys sometimes have the bloated stomachs, I think, because they eat so much food, they want to spill over, and then they remove the water and they get that full look. But then the waist, if you don't digest the food, it's going to be bloated. But me, even though I ate 10,000 grams of carbs in 9 days, my digestion stayed really good. There's a few things that I've learned. I'm like, wow. It's like there's a lot of stuff people do. Maybe they're doing mistakes and slow down the digestion. And me, I think my digestion was so good. It's like sometimes I was like maintaining or losing weight, eating like a pound of rice with 30 grams of sugar from honey every meal.